So this 17-year-old high school student was just unalived by her bowling coach just a couple days ago. Mind you, the bowling coach is 33 years old, and this girl is a 17-year-old high school student. He went to her home and he pew-pewed her multiple times, and then after he pew-pewed her, he turned the pew-pew around on himself and unalived himself right after.
I said this the other day, and I feel like it needs to be reiterated every single chance we get. But I'll say it again, or so I'll say it again. Every single time, outside of the threat, the threat of being unalived by a woman, every single time a man harms a woman physically, up until the point of unaliving her, is rooted in misogyny. Every single time. You cannot rationalize, you cannot make an excuse for a man unaliving a woman or a girl outside of misogyny, outside of the disdain and hatred of women, not seeing them as human beings. I literally cannot fathom why I would ever harm a woman like that, why I would ever harm a child, not even just a girl, but a child, like my sons. You know what I mean? Like, same thing. Why would I harm my sons? Why would I? That's why I don't hit my kids. It just is weird because, like, why like they're kids, right? That's how I look at women. It's like, why would I harm a woman like that? That's a woman. Like, she's, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I think that even as hot-headed as I could be, when I'm in my rational state of mind, why would I ever feel the need to physically harm a woman? You know what I mean? Like, I could wrap my brain around it for a man, because men pose threats that women don't, typically. And like I said, unless I truly believe that woman can end my life, and I've never encountered a woman who I truly believe not only could, because any woman could in my life, but not only did I believe that the woman could do it, but I believe that she would do it. Like she actually wanted to do so. I've never ran into a woman that I felt like wanted to harm me in that way. So I just don't understand why I would harm a woman. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I just don't get it. Right. And so every time I come across these stories, like I'm going to share with you guys, every time I come across these tragedies, man, I'm just like, why when these things pop up, do we not have the discussion as to why it's happening? Like, it's very similar to when a white person commits a mass unaliving, and the media calls him a lone wolf, and they don't call him they don't call him a terrorist or anything like that. They call him a lone wolf, and he had mental issues, and now, pray for the family and all that. Instead of calling it what it is, instead of calling it racism, instead of saying it's rooted in racism, right? Instead of saying it's rooted in misogyny, most of the time it is. When a man goes to a LGBTQIA nightclub and pews up the nightclub, that's misogyny. When a man walks into a salon in broad daylight and pews 5 or 6 people, including his ex-wife in there, that's misogyny. That's misogyny. And I could even tie in when men drive vehicles into crowds of protesters. I can link that to misogyny too. It wouldn't only be misogyny in that case, though, right? When you go to a nightclub inhabited mostly by LGBTQIA and queer folk, and you pew it up, or you detonate something in there, you try to harm a large group of people, that's 100% misogyny, 100%. When you drive into a crowd of protesters, okay, you can't say it's 100% misogyny. It's definitely racism. It's definitely, in this country, it would be American chauvinism, probably, things of that nature. But it's also misogyny because men, pretty much 99% of the time is going to be executed by a white man. And a lot of that is rooted in the idea that white men feel like their identity is slipping away from them because of things like women getting equal rights, because of women having access to divorces. You know what I'm saying? It's linked to that. I guarantee you, all those men who commit these mass unalivings, if you talk to them, if I'm saying prior to any of this, if anybody has ever come across their content or anything like that they produce, I bet you it's steeped in the hatred of women. I guarantee 100%. You've never seen a man commit acts of violence on that level in mass like that. And then you read their diary, you read their innermost thoughts, their manifestos, and it's like, and women deserve equal rights to men. And like, it's always like it's like these evil B words are stealing our kids and holding them for ransom and getting child support. It's all, and like randomly, like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll go pew up a bunch of black people right at a church. And then you read his writings and it's like, and Vicky never gave me no coochie when I was 15 years old. I'm like, what the fuck? Because it's always linked to that. And I'm really trying hard to get men to understand that at the core of all of these issues is misogyny. It literally is this identity crisis that men are having, and we've been having because it's cropped up time and time again. Because women are never just going to let you subjugate them, right? Women are never going to let us subjugate them. They're always going to fight. They're always going to resist, like every group of humans will, right? And every time they push back, and every time they get, make any type of footing, that is a direct assault on that's a direct assault on the patriarchy. And the foot soldiers of a patriarchy, aka the man, the average man, that the human male, they react. They have a very adverse reaction to it. Some a little, some lower, and some more extreme. And I'm really tired of talking to men about this and them not being able to see how all of this shit is connected. Stuff like Gwendolyn Smith being unalived by a 33-year-old man. Where do you think that comes from? Adriana Smith being forced to give birth even though she was brain dead, body decomposing, so they had to do an emergency cesarean section. Where do you think that comes from? Right? That's misogyny noir, because I was a black woman, by the way. We know, right, that they do ungodly things to black bodies, male or female, but they only do that type of stuff to black women. They only do that type of stuff to black women, right? And if you are a man and you hear this and you don't start thinking, I need to get my misogyny in check, then then you are an agent in the system. Whether you are a sleeper cell at best. Maybe you're not actively causing harm, but at any point in time, you could be awoken. They could make that, they could do the call like they did on the Manchurian Candidate and start to recite those words to you. Alpha, mega, alpha, omega, lone wolf, COD, and then you wake up. Now you out there harming women. Like, it don't take much. It don't take much. You are a sleeper cell.
So this 17-year-old high school student was just unalived by her bowling coach just a couple days ago. Yes, her bowling coach, and he taught her at the same high school as well, just unalived this 17-year-old girl.
And before anything comes out more about this, and I don't want to read too much into, but it's obvious he was in love with her. He was grooming her. She either was going to tell, he was going to be exposed, or she was trying to escape him. And that's why he did this. Because she's not a person to him. She's a possession. Yeah, that's what happened. I won't be surprised if we find out that she was pregnant or something. You know what I mean? Something like that. Something like that. He was I believe he probably was going to be exposed, and that's just my guess. I mean, it's all the time. Y'all follow the same pattern. You men are so predictable. You're so selfish and disgusting. A 17-year-old girl, you're a 33-year-old man. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What's going on? Because you guys are obsessed with youth and beauty, and you're obsessed with control and dominance. And you don't see women and girls as human beings. You see them as trinkets, as possessions. That is what it is.
Girl. Mind you, the bowling coach is 33 years old, and this girl is a 17-year-old high school student. He went to her home and he pew-pewed her multiple times, and then after he pew-pewed her, he turned a pew-pew around on himself and unalived himself right after. You cannot.
Coward. I know people be like, good riddance. I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't. I believe in you going to jail. I believe in you going to prison for 40 years, getting raped, getting beat up in the showers, going out like Tory Lanez. Like that's what I like, that type of shit for y'all. I like that type of shit for y'all. I don't care if you turn your life around in it. I don't care. I like the idea of 23-hour lockdowns for 19 months straight. I like that shit more than you unaliving yourself. I like that. That's what I like for y'all. Yeah. Until we reinvent the prison system. Yeah. That's what I like for y'all. Absolutely. You don't deserve a swift ending. You deserve a long, slow one. Yeah. Y'all some cowards.
Self right after. You cannot make this up. This is the bowling coach right here. It happened at a home in Michigan. Apparently he was her bowling coach and he taught her at the same high school. He passed all of the background checks and all these different things, but somehow he ended up unaliving this 17-year-old girl at her home, by the way. And this pisses me off because I know what we're all thinking, right? There's no way he just randomly unalived one of his students. You gotta think, no, he did not. This gives me those vibes where he probably was into her or lusting after her, and then he made his move on her and she rejected him. Or he was R-wording her and she was saying that she was gonna go tell. Either way it go, this is a disturbing story, and this man is sick because it's way too specific. If he was truly just somebody who wanted to go on a spree, why would he show up to a specific young girl's house who he taught and who, you know what I'm saying? He would have just took it to the school and did it to everybody. But no, he chose this specific girl. We all know what to think here. This is a case that's going to be ongoing. This man is sick. Prayers up for Gwendolyn Smith and her family. This is a tragedy because this little girl does not deserve. Oh my gosh, this really makes.
No woman, no person, you know what I mean, deserves this, but definitely not no 17-year-old girl. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Shocked our community. I would like to start by saying it has been a difficult 4.5 days. I want to recognize the hard work and tireless dedication of the men and women of the Sheriff's Office. As they investigate these tragic incidents, I want to drive home the fact that their work is not done. I want to express my gratitude and my appreciation for the hard work that they do every day in and out. I'll begin with the incident in Bedford Township on Saturday, June 14th, approximately 6 p.m. Members of the Sheriff's Office were dispatched to 1641 West Stearns Road in Bedford Township, following a report of two deceased individuals that were found inside the home. The victim in this case was Gwendolyn Faye Smith, age 17, of Temperance. The suspect in this case is Ryan Jacob List, age 33, of Temperance. The cause of this tragic incident was a gunshot wounds. The manner of death, based on the coroner's report for Gwendolyn, was homicide. The manner of death for Ryan was listed as Gwendolyn's stepfather arrived home to find Gwendolyn and the suspect with apparent gunshot wounds. The suspect and Gwendolyn, it's believed they had met through time as the bowling coach for the club bowling team at Bedford Public Schools. The details of the relationship are not clear at this time, although it is believed that Gwendolyn did not consider the relation between the two of them to be romantic. The suspect.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like the gentleman said, probably he got rejected. You know, he was lusting after her. The unaliver was lusting after her. She's a fucking 17-year-old girl who is rational, insane, and is like, ew, old man alert, fucking rejects him, and then he does this to her. Like, it's a tale as old as time at this point, man. Crazy.
The suspect gained entry into the home and shot Gwendolyn multiple times before taking his own life. I want to clarify the suspect's position or involvement with the Bedford bowling team. I was initially informed that he was not an employee of Bedford Public Schools, which was conveyed in the press release that I issued yesterday. However, today I received information that he was a coach, which is an unpaid position for the Bedford bowling team, but he's paid through the bowling establishment, not Bedford Public Schools. And that, in fact, a photograph did appear of him with the bowling team in the 24-25 yearbook. What I'd like to do is transition into the incident in Raisonville Township. On Tuesday, June 17th at approximately 9:47 a.m., members of the Sheriff's Office responded to the area of Heiss Road west of Steffes in Raisonville Township after an individual found after a citizen found two deceased individuals in the roadway. Heiss Road in this area is an unimproved road, not normally traveled. The victim in this case was identified as Faith Renee Hamilton, age 16, and the offender in this case was identified as Landon Brian LaFond, age 16 as well. The manner and cause of death is not being released today because it's pending the coroner's report. Dispatch received the call from Faith's uncle, who found both of them on scene at the Heiss Road location. Detectives have determined that Faith and the suspect had an apparent dating relationship. In the early morning hours of Tuesday, the suspect and Faith communicated and ultimately ended up at the venue. It's unclear at this point if the suspect drove Faith or if she arrived by other means. Both Faith and the suspect suffered gunshot wounds. Located within the suspect vehicle were writings indicating the suspect's intention to take both Faith and his life. Even though both schools are in summer recess, I think it's important to note they've activated their crisis management team to offer assistance to Gwendolyn, friends of Gwendolyn, Faith, and Landon. In closing, I want to stress there is no nexus or connection between the victims or suspects in the Bedford Township incident or the incident in Raisonville Township. The families from both incidents, both the victims and suspects, are fully cooperating. We want to express our sincere condolences to the family, and thoughts and prayers are with them.
So in the case of Faith Renee Hamilton, her boyfriend texted her and told her to meet him at this location. He had this all planned out. So it's not connected to the other one, but there is a connection. It's not connected to Gwendolyn Smith's case, right? Like the people aren't connected, but the factors or the drivers are connected. The connection here is there are parallels here. First, femicide, right? Male on female violence. First connection. Second connection, which I've been talking about this whole time. Why would a man ever need to unalive a woman or a girl? Why? Now, we could dress it up. We could say, oh, in this case, it was, oh, she rejected him or whatever. That's a symptom. That's a symptom. That's not the actual reason why he did it. The reason why he did it, the reason why the piece of shit who unalived Gwendolyn, the reason why he did it is because of misogyny. Cool. Let's look at Faith Renee Hamilton's case. The reason the reason Landon unalived her is because of misogyny. The reason they deleted themselves is because of cowardice. They were just afraid to face the consequences. But the reason they unalived the girls is because of misogyny. That is the connection that I want to make. And you can see it doesn't matter. A 33-year-old man, a 16-year-old boy, it doesn't matter. The misogyny was there the whole time. The hatred, the disdain, the hatred that men have for women and girls is ever present. It's ever present. And there's no excuse that I can come up with outside of misogyny at the end of the day. And it's important for us to acknowledge that, because effectively we can end this if we can address that issue. We can end this behavior if we address this issue within men and within society. That's why I talk about it as much as I talk about it. That's why I bring it up as much as I do, because we can stop it. We can stop it as a society. But it's going to take for men to listen. It's going to take for men to call it out when it happens. And it's going to take for men to change. That's just the reality, because our daughters, our mothers, the women of this planet, they deserve better than this. They don't deserve this. This is crazy. This is crazy. And this is happening all across the globe. This is not just happening in America. This is not just white men problem. This is not just Asian men problem. This is every community in every single corner of Earth. This is the problem. These are the issues.